my name's Alex and I'm from Montreal, Canada.
My name is Sydney Weiser and I am from West Hartford, Connecticut.
I'm Erin and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
My name is Tate. Currently I live in Utah.
My name is Cassidy and I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
My name is Emma Glick. I'm from Westport, Connecticut.
I'm ace and I'm baromantic and I am polyamorous.
Bisexual.
I am pansexual.
I am bisexual.
I am biromantic, asexual.
I typically identify as just queer, but if I put a label on it, it's pansexual.
For the ace part was pretty, I think it was the hardest because I remember at 15 being told by an actual sexologist that I could not be ace, and I remember my mom telling me also at 15 that I was just picking up stuff from the internet. So poly, I'm still not out. I think everything else people can accept if you explain it to them, and that part just like makes you look greedy, and it's even worse since I'm bi.
I realized I was bi when I had a boyfriend, and then there was a very cute girl in my math class, and I was very confused because I liked this boyfriend man, but I also liked this pretty girl, and that didn't seem correct to me.
It didn't really occur to me that like I was interested in everyone until someone was like, this is what it means, and I was just like, whoa, I like everybody.
Trying to get them together was really hard because I thought I could be bi or I could be ace. It was almost like I had the bi issue of not knowing if I could be gay or straight, but I had it with being bi and ace. And then someone told me I could have both.
The first time I was exposed to it, I was 10 years old and my friend came out to me as bi. She had to explain what it was because I sure as hell didn't know what it was because no one ever talked to me about it. I went home that day and told my mom and my sister that my friend came out as bi, and I was like, this is so cool! I didn't know you could like both! My mom and my sister were like, oh, you can. And my sister was like, yeah, my gay friend says it's only for gay men to use so they can like hold girls' hands.
So my parents took me to see Rent at age like 5, and I saw Maureen, and for a while I was like, yeah, that, but I didn't have a word for it. When I was looking for a label for myself, I found pansexual when I was Googling, and I was like, that's broad as hell. It's the broadest thing I've ever heard. That's where I'm going.
It's kind of like how someone's like, oh, that's such like a Leo thing, like that's such like a Capricorn thing, and then people are like, what's the difference? That's kind of how I think about people think about with all the different sexual identities, is because they all, a lot of people, they just look the same, and so that kind of bothers them that people want to be special and be unique.
Because there are a lot of people who don't like to admit the fact that the binary is fake. If there's more than just the two things, then they might have to admit stuff like there are other genders than boy or girl, or they have to admit that people don't fit into the boxes.
People who do fit the binary don't understand what it's like to not. And it is, you know, that stigma of, oh, then you must be a huge slut, or you must just be thinking of this. They don't understand that, like, being attracted to men and being attracted to women or being attracted to anybody else who doesn't fit the gender binary is not the same as, like, oh, I'm dating this person, but I also like this person and this person and this person, which is a stigma that we are still fighting today.
I never personally felt it, but I know it happens from people around me that have been told that they're not gay enough or they're not straight enough to belong.
The most I get is just people just kind of like, they usually will just kind of brush aside the ace part and just call me bisexual, which sometimes is uncomfortable because I'm not. It's too many words for them, so they just shorten it.
I've never really had any biphobia, specifically with the LGBT community. I've definitely had biphobia with the straights. Not until very recently, when I was like working, I was like talking about it, and my coworker was just like, don't people just like say that to be cool? And I'm like, No, don't say that to be cool. Definitely, like, don't want all the homophobia that comes with being a queer person.
I have very recently been getting death threats on Twitter from a lesbian who is angry that I suggested that a character whose sexuality is never mentioned might be pansexual.
What about the straights?
The straights, from what I've experienced, they tend to, I haven't had any straights be outwardly mean to me. They tend to just be like, okay, if that's what you say you are.
My mom and my sisters were great. My sisters always wanted a lesbian sister. My dad, less so. That was a really hard night. And he said some hurtful things, and my first girlfriend, he did not acknowledge her existence, really. But he's come a really, really long way. And I came out to the rest of my family at Thanksgiving after Trump was elected. And they've never discussed it, ever. We just don't talk about it.
So I am out, but not to all of my family members. I told my sister one day, and she was just like, oh, cool. And I told my mom, I've been trying to tell my mom for years now, but she just keeps going, I don't think so.
Do you think your mom would have had a different reaction if you were just gay?
Yes, her brother is gay, so she's not homophobic. I know that, but she's very biphobic.
My mom and my sister, and like a lot of people in my family, were asking if I was gay since I was like 13. I said no because I didn't think I was gay. And then once I realized it, I pretty much immediately told my mom. I was like, I have something good to tell you, and she was like, you're gay, and I was like, close. She was like, you're bi, and I was like, yeah, and she was fine with it. I was a little nervous to tell my sister because of the whole biphobia thing, so I made my mom tell my sister. My sister took it well at first, and she was like, I don't understand why you just didn't come out about it, like we all knew. And then a couple months later, she actually told me that she thinks I'm a lesbian still, and that she doesn't think I'm bisexual because I've only been with women. So yes, I think it would be very different if I was just gay, because there would just be that reaction. Cool, glad you came out. Instead, there's this whole, I actually think you're a lesbian and not bisexual.
I came out to my parents very recently, like within the last month and a half. I think my dad is still trying to wrap his head around it, but my mom has, unbeknownst to me, known for years. So I think she's kind of figured it out herself. She's okay with it. She loves my girlfriend.
In general, at first it was not the best. They were okay with the idea of me being gay, but not being gay, if that makes sense, like that they didn't want me to act on it or whatever. But I don't think it was, they weren't like biphobic or acephobic specifically, and they've gotten better about both of those things. Honestly, I think for my parents it's easier because they didn't have to worry about me having sex, and they could still pretend that I was going to marry a man. So I honestly think it was almost like a cushion for them to be like, okay, she's not having sex with girls, we don't have to worry about that.
The more you're different, the less people know about it, and the more they're afraid because it's different.
West Harvard is a pretty liberal town, but there's also a more religiously conservative population that are not very accepting of the gays.
Not awesome, I guess. The problem is, honestly, that a lot of people here don't know the non-normative sexuality. Some people here genuinely seem to think that there is lesbian and gay, and maybe some of them know bi, but none of them seem to know anything else. And in general, they just have that typical Mormon, Utah feel that's like, I don't judge you, but like I'm judging you in the back of my mind.
Bisexuality, I think everywhere can be a little hard to accept. For the most part, everyone is pretty cool with it.
As a town, it's not great, but I found a community within that was very accepting. For the first 2 years and like kind of 2.5 years of my high school experience, our principal was a gay man who was very accepting of anyone of any sexuality, and that was amazing. His replacement, when he retired, was not.
Oh man, there's so many hot people. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Like, don't have to choose.
I like that I have a lot of freedom in it. It's not for anybody else. It's for me.
Oh, I love the community of people in the middle because, like, the LGBT community as a whole is great, and I love being a part of the broader community, but the middle of the spectrum community is so fun, and the jokes are amazing.
The community is awesome. Everybody is like really, really supportive of each other and understanding of each other. An asexual person can be really supportive and great with a bisexual person, and vice versa. Like, I think we're really very understanding of each other because we don't fall into the binaries. We have that connection even if we don't have the same sexuality.
Like, this is kind of a niche thing, but whenever I see someone who has like that same niche identity as me, like, it makes it like 8,000 times cooler, because like finding someone who's queer is cool, but like finding someone who's biromantic asexual is like, holy shit, we are the same, we are now best friends, I love you, and you can like relate to them so deeply that like when you find those people, like, it means a lot, and it's cool to like see the similarities.
I like that I'm able to look around the world and just see beauty everywhere.
My name's Alex, and I'm from Montreal.
Where is Montreal, Alex?
It's in Canada.
Thank you. What is your sexual identity?
Already. Okay.
They just call me short.
Yeah.
You're sitting too normal.
You're shorter than the rest of them.
How do you
I didn't
want
call
me to
you
sit?
short.
How
You're
do you
just
want me to
shorter.
Sit like a bisexual.
How was a bisexual? Sit like this?
Yeah. One-legged.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it recording? Wait.
Yes, it is recording.
Okay. This chair is wobbly. Alright, I'm okay. I'm
It's a
fine. I'll
rocking
live.
chair. I'm sexually attracted to kitchen appliances.
And I wish I got that on film.
You can't see your legs anyway.
I don't care. I'm sitting too normal to be a bisexual.
Like, when you think...
You ruined my entire documentary. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'll leave.
So, well, I told my cousin once, and he goes, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "I like pots and pans," and he's like, "Cool."
I personally do not, because I go to Marymount Manhattan College, which is very gay.
So, do we not have a connection since I am not asexual?
I relate to you on the bi stuff, but I definitely don't relate to you on the ace stuff.
Would
You
you
are allosexual.
would you be willing to turn allosexual for me?
No. I want this on the record. I will not. I'm not going to turn allosexual for Cassidy Rab.
And that concludes our interview because Tate just hurt my feelings.